You ever been so hurt that silence became your only defense? So disappointed you stopped explaining yourself to people who never really listened in the first place? Let me tell you something. There comes a moment, a sacred defining moment, when your soul gets tired of being disturbed by the noise of the world, the opinions, the rejections, the betrayals, the whispers behind your back that echo louder than the truth in front of you. Woo! That's when you realize peace isn't something you find, it's something you protect. You were never meant to be everyone's comfort zone. You weren't designed to carry the weight of other people's chaos. And yet here you are, fighting silent wars, trying to smile through storms, convincing yourself that it's just life being life. But let me tell you the truth that's going to set you free today. You don't have to let them break you. You don't have to let them in. Not every knock deserves to be answered. Not every storm deserves your shelter. This is the moment you reclaim your power. This is the moment you learn the key to never letting anyone or anything bother you again. Most people walk through life handing out pieces of themselves to anyone who asks, and even to those who don't. You give your energy away to every rude comment, every cold shoulder, every lie wrapped in a smile. You let people's moods dictate your peace, like your soul is some open field for anyone to walk through with muddy boots. But there's a different way to live, a higher way. You've got to protect your peace like it's the last flame burning on a cold night, like it's sacred, because it is. Your peace is the foundation of your sanity, your strength, your clarity. If someone can disturb that with a sentence, a glance, or a phone call, you're not free. You're chained to external approval. And I need you to understand this. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Not everyone deserves your explanation. When you stop giving unlimited access to people who only bring chaos, your life begins to shift. You start feeling lighter. You start breathing deeper. Because peace is not the absence of noise. It's the decision to silence what doesn't serve your growth. Guard it like a fortress, not with anger, but with awareness. There will be people who feel entitled to your energy, who believe they can throw their emotions at you like a grenade and expect you to absorb the blast. But you're not a dumping ground. You're not a sponge for toxicity. And protecting your peace doesn't mean you're rude or distant. It means you're aware. Aware of how much you can carry. Aware of when someone's presence adds weight instead of light. You can love people and still block their access. You can care deeply and still say not today. And sometimes not ever again. Emotional maturity isn't about tolerating everything. It's about choosing what aligns with your purpose, your mental health, your destiny. So when the gossip comes, let it pass. When the manipulation creeps in, shut the door. When people use guilt as a leash, cut the rope. Because the moment you start living for their comfort, you begin dying to your own peace. And that's not strength. That's surrendering your soul. You were born for more than that. See, a fortress doesn't just have walls. It has gates, it has guards, it has wisdom. And your life needs the same structure. Not everything gets through. Not every opinion is a truth. Not every emotion is yours to carry. The world will try to convince you that being kind means being available 24/7, emotionally naked, constantly accessible. That's not kindness. That's self-abandonment dressed up in false humility. Real kindness starts with how you treat yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't uplift others when you're constantly being dragged down. That's why boundaries are not barriers, they're bridges. They protect what's sacred. They protect you. So if someone storms in with chaos, learn to walk away without guilt. Learn to let go without needing closure. Learn to value your peace so deeply that the absence of drama becomes your new definition of happiness. It's not selfish, it's survival. Because if your peace is constantly under attack, you'll never hear the whisper of your own intuition. And that's the most dangerous silence of all. There's going to be moments when the enemy doesn't show up as a stranger. It shows up as someone you once trusted, someone you still love. That's when protecting your peace becomes a spiritual battle. Because your heart will want to understand, to fix, to prove your worth. But let me be real with you. Some people don't want healing, they want control. They want to keep you in a cycle of emotional slavery where your joy depends on their mood swings. Break the cycle. Love them from a distance, pray for them, but don't let them in your gates. You can forgive someone and still never allow them into your energy again. That's not bitterness, it's wisdom. Pain taught you something. Betrayal revealed something. And peace reminds you what freedom feels like. It's quiet but powerful. It's gentle but unshakable. And once you taste that kind of peace, you'll never again trade it for shallow conversations, empty apologies, or false connections. You'll become deliberate about your life, intentional with your energy. Because once your soul knows stillness, the storm no longer gets to be the narrator of your life. Let me tell you what happens when you finally protect your peace like a fortress. You stop reacting, you start responding. You stop rushing, you start listening. You stop needing to be understood, you start understanding yourself. That shift is everything. You begin to move with calmness, not chaos. You begin to breathe in alignment, not anxiety. And when people try to trigger you, it won't land. Not because they changed, but because you did. You fortified your gates, you redefined your worth. You got tired of being pulled into other people's storms, so you became the stillness that couldn't be shaken. That kind of peace will confuse those who once controlled you. They'll wonder why their words don't work anymore, why their absence doesn't break you, why your silence is louder than their noise. And that's okay. Let them wonder, because your healing isn't for their understanding. It's for your freedom. And freedom requires solitude, discernment, and a level of self-respect that won't apologize for existing. That's what protecting your peace looks like. It's a quiet revolution. When you live this way, people will start to notice the shift. You'll no longer be the one who flinches at confrontation or who over-explains to people who never cared to listen. You won't bend backwards for acceptance or allow guilt to chain you to obligations you never agreed to. You'll walk into rooms with your head high, not because you're arrogant, but because you're anchored. Anchored in peace. Anchored in clarity. Anchored in the truth that you don't need to control everything around you to be okay inside of you. That's liberation. And you'll know who's really for you, not by how loud they praise you, but by how gently they honor your peace. The ones who respect your boundaries are the ones who value your soul. The rest were only there for what you could give, not for who you are. Let them go. Let the noise fade, because your life deserves to be more than a battlefield for other people's issues. It deserves to be a sanctuary for your spirit to rise, rebuild, and remain unshaken. There's a certain beauty in the life you build after you choose peace over people-pleasing. It's quieter, yes, but it's richer, deeper. It's full of intentional relationships, calm mornings, and unbothered nights. You're not constantly checking your phone to decode someone's silence. You're not losing sleep, replaying conversations, wondering what you could have said differently. You rest, not just your body, but your soul, because you know that anyone meant for your life will never force you to compromise your sanity. You start noticing the little things, the way peace feels in your chest, the way your laughter sounds when it's real, the way your spirit feels when it's not burdened by fake loyalty or masked intentions. And in that stillness, in that calm after the storm, you find the version of you that was buried under years of noise. That version of you, that's who you were meant to be all along. Strong, centered, unapologetically at peace. And the world, with all its chaos and confusion, no longer has the key to your fortress. Only you do. And that's the power of protecting your peace. Most people think silence means weakness or surrender. They believe if they don't speak up, they're giving in, losing ground in a fight they can't afford to lose. But silence, real silence, is one of the greatest weapons a soul can wield. It's the power to refuse the noise, to refuse the chaos, to refuse to feed the fires others want to light inside your mind. When you master silence, you stop reacting to everything thrown your way. You stop giving away your energy like it's an unlimited resource. You learn that sometimes the loudest roar comes from saying absolutely nothing at all, because silence creates space. Space for clarity, for strength, for strategy. When you talk less, you listen more. You begin to understand that not every battle is yours to fight. Not every insult deserves a response, and not every criticism deserves your validation. The world is full of noise, but peace lives in the quiet. So when they try to pull you into their drama, when they expect you to defend, explain, or argue, just hold your tongue. Your silence is your power. It's your shield. And when you don't respond to nonsense, you starve it of its fuel. That's mastery. Silence is not just about holding your tongue. It's about controlling your mind. It's about taming the endless chatter inside your head that convinces you to explode, to cry out, to lash back. Mastering silence means mastering yourself. The ability to remain calm when everything inside you wants to break loose. It means pausing before you speak, thinking before you act, choosing peace over reaction. It's the discipline to not be pushed around by emotions or circumstances, because when you're silent, you own the moment instead of letting the moment own you. People will push your buttons, try to provoke you, but silence is your answer that says you don't have control here. And that drives some people crazy because they're used to hearing your reactions. When you refuse to feed the noise with your own voice, you stop being part of their story. You become the observer, the calm in the storm, the unmoved mountain, and no one can shake a mountain. Think about how much of your life has been wasted on arguments that change nothing, explanations that fell on deaf ears, or fights that left you emptier than before. Silence saves you from all that exhaustion. It's a reset button. When you learn to stay quiet in the face of provocation, you save your energy for the battles that really matter. Those that will elevate you, not drain you. It's not about being passive or letting people walk all over you. It's about choosing your battles with precision, about deciding which words will build bridges and which words will burn them. Silence teaches you that sometimes the strongest response is no response at all. It's a language of power that doesn't need to be loud or aggressive. It's calm, it's poised, it's dignified, and it demands respect in a way shouting never could. Silence also protects your heart. When you stop reacting impulsively, you stop exposing your vulnerabilities to those who might weaponize them. You stop allowing your emotions to be a playground for others' control. There is incredible strength in holding your tongue when your spirit wants to scream. It means you're choosing to heal first before you speak. It means you're giving yourself the chance to process pain, anger, or disappointment without allowing those feelings to dictate your actions. Silence gives you the space to breathe through hurt and come back stronger, not broken. It means you're not in a rush to explain your worth to people who already made up their minds. You protect your soul by not sharing it with those who don't deserve it. Silence is your way of saying, I'm too valuable to waste on noise. When you master silence, you also gain the gift of deep listening. You begin to hear what's unsaid, to understand the motives behind the words, and to see the truth beneath the surface. Silence opens your eyes to what you might have missed while you were busy defending yourself or trying to prove your point. It allows you to be present, fully present, without distraction. And presence is powerful. It commands respect, creates influence, and builds connection in ways noise never could. When you're silent, people lean in because they know you're not just waiting to speak. You're actually hearing them. That kind of presence shifts relationships and transforms interactions. It puts you in control without saying a single word. And here's the real secret. Mastering silence means you finally control the narrative of your life. You're no longer a puppet to the opinions, criticisms, or expectations of others. You choose when to speak and when to stay quiet. You decide which voices matter and which are background noise. Silence becomes your crown, your armor, your throne. It's where your power lives, untouchable by anyone who tries to rattle you, because in silence you find your truth, unfiltered, unshaken, unapologetic. So when the world tries to pull you into chaos, remember, the strongest move isn't always to fight back. Sometimes the strongest move is to say nothing and watch the storm pass. That's mastery, that's freedom, that's peace. Too often, we let our energy get stolen by things that don't deserve a second thought. We chase approval from people who don't see our worth. We replay old arguments in our minds, letting resentment fester like poison in our veins. We waste hours worrying about what others think, what they said, or how they acted, as if their opinions have some power over our peace. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Your energy is your most valuable currency, and you have the power to decide where it goes. You don't have to spend it on every slight, every criticism, or every drama that tries to pull you down. When you start to redefine what deserves your energy, you begin to reclaim your life. You stop being a hostage to other people's chaos and become the guardian of your own soul. This shift is revolutionary because it means you're no longer living to react. You're living to create, to build, to thrive. Your energy is precious. It's meant for things that elevate you, inspire you, and push you closer to your purpose, not for things that drain you and leave you empty. Most of us never stop to ask ourselves what really deserves our energy. We give away our focus to distractions disguised as urgency, to toxic people disguised as friends, to negativity disguised as truth. We try to fix situations that aren't ours to fix, to change people who don't want to change, and to carry burdens that were never meant to be ours. It's exhausting because imagine what it would feel like to channel that energy instead into your dreams, into your growth, into your peace. Imagine not waking up each day weighed down by the noise of unresolved conflicts or the need to prove your worth to someone who's already decided you don't matter. Redefining your energy means saying no without guilt, means cutting ties without regret, and means protecting your spirit like the rare gem it is. When you do that, you're not cold or uncaring, you're wise and whole. Energy is a force, and like any force, it moves where you direct it. If you're constantly feeding fear, doubt, and drama, that's what will multiply. But if you focus your energy on love, growth, and positivity, that's what will grow. You have a choice every moment. What gets your energy? The angry text from a toxic person, or the calm voice inside that urges you to breathe and move on? The endless comparisons to others, or the gratitude for what you already have? The temptation to dwell on past mistakes, or the courage to learn and keep walking forward? This is where redefining your energy becomes an act of rebellion against everything that tries to dim your light. It's about owning your power to decide who and what deserves your attention. When you realize that, you no longer allow distractions to hijack your happiness. You no longer let your focus wander to things that don't serve your destiny. Your energy becomes sacred and you protect it fiercely. It takes practice to redefine your energy because our minds are trained to react to drama. We're wired to care about what others think because for survival, belonging mattered. But survival is no longer enough for you. You're here to thrive, not just exist. And thriving means being selective with your energy. It means surrounding yourself with people who lift you up, environments that inspire you, and thoughts that challenge you to grow. It means saying yes to the things that light a fire inside you and saying no to the things that leave you cold. It means listening to your intuition when it whispers that something or someone isn't worth your time or energy. That voice is your greatest guide. Trust it. When you redefine your energy, you begin to build a life that feels right, not just looks right. You start to move with intention, and that intentionality becomes your superpower. When you protect your energy, you protect your peace. Because every time you give energy to someone or something that doesn't deserve it, you're trading peace for chaos. You're trading clarity for confusion. You're trading strength for exhaustion. And none of that serves your highest good. So make no mistake, this is not about shutting people out or ignoring problems. It's about being wise enough to know when to engage and when to walk away. It's about being strong enough to stop fighting battles that are already lost or never meant for you. It's about giving yourself permission to be whole, to be free, to be unburdened. You owe that to yourself. Your energy is the soil where your future grows. Tend it carefully, nourish it intentionally. Weed out anything that stunts your growth. Because when you redefine what deserves your energy, you create the space for miracles to happen, for joy to expand, and for your true life to begin. There's a pain inside you that no one sees. A wound so deep you hide it behind a smile, behind laughter, behind the mask you wear every day. People think you're fine, but they don't know the battles you fight alone at night, the memories you replay, the hurt you bury so deep it's almost forgotten. But hiding those wounds doesn't heal them. It only makes them heavier, like a shadow growing longer inside your soul. You walk around carrying that weight, hoping no one will notice, hoping you can outlast the pain, but true healing begins the moment you stop hiding, the moment you give yourself permission to feel, to face the hurt instead of running from it. You don't have to wear armor that hides your scars. You can wear your wounds as a testament to how far you've come. Healing is not weakness, it's courage. It's the brave act of looking at your pain in the eye and saying, "You will not define me." That's where freedom begins. So many of us are afraid to show our brokenness. We think vulnerability is a risk, a sign that we might lose respect or love. But the truth is, the deepest connections, the most profound strength come from embracing our wounds, not hiding them. When you heal the wounds you hide from the world, you open the door to authenticity. You allow yourself to be seen fully, flaws and all. And that kind of honesty with yourself and others is rare and powerful. It breaks the cycle of loneliness and isolation because it reminds you that you're not alone. Every scar, every ache has a story. And those stories connect us, heal us, and remind us that we're human. Healing is a journey, not a destination. It's messy, it's slow, and sometimes it hurts more before it feels better. But every step forward is a step toward reclaiming your life. Healing your hidden wounds means facing uncomfortable truths. It means peeling back layers of denial, shame, and fear that have kept you stuck in pain for years. It means sitting with your hurt without running, without distracting yourself with temporary fixes. This process isn't easy. Nothing worth healing ever is. You might have to confront people who caused the pain or forgive yourself for mistakes that haunt you. You might have to cry, scream, or simply sit in silence with your pain. But through this discomfort, healing grows. You become whole again, piece by piece. The wounds that once felt like prison bars begin to crack, letting light in. You learn that your scars are not signs of failure, but proof of survival. And in that survival, there's strength, wisdom, and a deeper compassion for yourself and others. Healing also means setting boundaries to protect your progress. When you've carried wounds for so long, it's tempting to return to the familiar patterns that cause them, whether it's toxic relationships, self-destructive habits, or negative self-talk. But healing asks you to say no to what harms you, even if it means walking away from people or situations you once loved. It's about choosing your peace over approval, your growth over comfort, your future over the past. This is where true self-love begins, when you protect your heart like the treasure it is. It's not selfish to guard your healing. It's necessary, because if you don't tend to your wounds, they will continue to bleed into every part of your life. But when you heal, you reclaim your power and rewrite your story on your own terms. Healing your wounds is also a gift to those around you. When you refuse to hide your pain, you give others permission to do the same. You become a beacon of hope for those who are struggling in silence. Your courage to heal out loud shatters the stigma around pain and vulnerability. It says loud and clear that it's okay not to be okay, that healing is possible, and that no one has to suffer alone. You inspire others to face their own wounds and step into the light of recovery. Your healing is not just for you, it ripples out, touching lives in ways you can't even imagine. That's the power of being real, being raw, and being brave enough to heal the wounds you once hid. Remember, healing is not about forgetting what happened or pretending the wounds never existed. It's about making peace with your past so it no longer controls your present or your future. It's about transforming your pain into power. When you heal, you take back the narrative from your hurt and turn it into a story of resilience, hope, and triumph. Your wounds become the foundation of your strength, not the chains of your despair. You learn to carry your scars with pride because they remind you of the battles you've won. Healing lets you step into the fullness of who you are, flawed, scarred, but beautifully whole. It's a journey of becoming more than your pain, of rising above what tried to break you. In the end, healing the wounds you hide from the world is the most radical act of self-love you can commit to. It's a promise to yourself that no matter what happened, you will not be defined by it. You will rise. You will grow. You will love again, starting with yourself. You'll find peace in the places where pain once lived, strength in the moments you once felt weak, and hope in the darkness that once seemed endless. The journey is long and sometimes lonely, but it's worth every tear, every hard step, and every moment of courage. Because on the other side of healing, you discover the truest version of yourself, a soul unbroken, unshaken, and unstoppable. People will always do things that hurt you, disappoint you, or make you question your worth. You'll face criticism, betrayal, and coldness from those you once trusted, and it's easy, too easy, to take it personally, to believe that their actions define who you are, to feel broken or less because of what they did or said. But here's a truth that can change everything. Their actions say more about them than they do about you. When someone lashes out, ignores you, or tries to bring you down, it reflects their own struggles, insecurities, and pain. It's not a judgment on your value or your character. It's a mirror showing their brokenness. When you realize this, it frees you from carrying their weight on your shoulders. You begin to see people's behavior for what it really is, a reflection of their inner battles, not a verdict on your worth. This awareness is a shield that protects your heart from unnecessary damage and reminds you that you are whole, no matter how others choose to treat you. We tend to want answers, to understand why people hurt us, but sometimes the answer isn't about us at all. It's about what they're dealing with inside. When someone is unkind, jealous, or dismissive, they're often projecting their own fears and insecurities onto you. Maybe they don't feel good enough themselves, so they try to tear others down to feel bigger. Maybe they're struggling with pain they can't express, so they lash out in ways that seem personal but really have nothing to do with you. This is not an excuse for bad behavior, but a reminder that you don't have to internalize it. Their actions reveal their story, not yours. Holding on to their hurt only ties you to their darkness. Letting go means choosing to rise above their pain and protect your peace. Understanding this truth changes how you respond. It invites compassion for their struggles and detachment from their judgments. It's natural to want validation from others, to wish people would see your value and treat you with respect. But when you realize that their actions are about them, you stop depending on their approval to feel worthy. You stop chasing validation that will never come from those who don't see your light. This shift is powerful because it moves you from a place of neediness to self-sufficiency. You begin to validate yourself. You remind yourself daily that your worth isn't tied to their opinion or treatment of you. You are not responsible for their choices or feelings. Their actions don't diminish your goodness or your potential. This realization empowers you to set boundaries, to walk away from toxic situations, and to choose environments where your value is recognized and nurtured. It's a revolution in how you see yourself and others. Recognizing that their actions say more about them than you also helps you stop overthinking and replaying hurtful moments. How many times have you lain awake, dissecting every word, every gesture, trying to make sense of someone's cruelty or coldness? When you understand this principle, you learn to stop feeding those negative loops. You learn to accept that some people are limited by their own fears and wounds, and that you don't have to fix or change them. You focus instead on your own growth, your own healing, and your own peace. This perspective liberates you from emotional exhaustion and frees up mental space for things that truly matter. It reminds you that their drama is not your story to carry. You choose what chapters to write in your life, and you have the power to turn the page. This truth also invites you to approach relationships with healthier expectations. When you realize that others' actions are about their inner world, you stop expecting perfection or fairness from people who haven't healed themselves. You become wiser about who deserves your trust and your energy. You learn to protect your heart by surrounding yourself with those who uplift and support you rather than those who drain or harm you. You stop trying to change people who are unwilling to grow and start focusing on building connections based on mutual respect and understanding. This shift creates space for genuine love and authentic relationships. It allows you to love without losing yourself, to care without being consumed, and to stand firm without being shaken by others' storms. Understanding that their actions reveal more about them than you also opens the door to forgiveness, not for their sake, but for yours. Forgiveness is not about excusing hurtful behavior. It's about freeing yourself from the prison of bitterness and anger. When you forgive, you break the chains that tie your heart to their mistakes. You choose peace over pain, healing over hurt. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting. It means releasing the hold their actions have on your spirit. It's an act of power and self-love. Forgiveness lets you reclaim your peace and step into a future unburdened by the weight of others' actions. It's a gift you give yourself so you can live fully and freely. At the end of the day, remembering that their actions say more about them than you is a practice, not just a thought. It requires you to be mindful and intentional every time you feel hurt or disrespected. It calls you to pause, breathe, and remind yourself of this truth before reacting. This practice builds resilience and peace over time. It teaches you to walk through life with your head held high, unshaken by the storms of others. It gives you the strength to rise above hurt and rejection and the grace to extend compassion without losing yourself. When you hold this truth close, you create an unbreakable foundation of self-worth and peace that no one can shake. And that ultimately is freedom. There is a force within you greater than any storm life can throw your way, a power that can steady your soul when everything else feels like it's crumbling. It's easy to feel lost when the world spins out of control, when people disappoint, dreams shatter, and the weight of your struggles presses down hard on your chest. But here's the secret. You don't have to be tossed by every wave or broken by every storm. You can anchor yourself in something greater than your fears, your doubts, and the chaos around you. This anchor is not always visible. Sometimes it's quiet, hidden deep inside. A faith, a purpose, a belief that holds you firm when the ground beneath you shakes. When you connect to this greater source, you discover a resilience that no pain can erase, a peace that no chaos can disrupt. It's the foundation that no heartbreak can crumble, the light that no darkness can dim. Anchoring yourself in something greater means rooting your identity and strength in a truth that transcends circumstance. It's a choice to stand tall even when everything screams to fall. The world will challenge you with setbacks, betrayals, and losses that feel unbearable. Without an anchor, these storms can leave you adrift, drifting toward despair and hopelessness. But when you tether your spirit to something bigger than yourself, you gain a stability that no external force can shake. This greater force might be a belief in a higher purpose, the unshakable knowledge that your life has meaning beyond what you see, or the conviction that even the darkest nights will give way to dawn. Whatever form it takes, this anchor becomes your sanctuary, a place where your soul finds rest and renewal. When fear threatens to consume you, when anger tries to flood your mind, or when sorrow weighs heavy on your heart, this grounding power steadies you. It reminds you that pain is temporary, that storms pass, and that you are not alone. Anchoring yourself in something greater also transforms how you see your struggles. Instead of viewing hardships as random misfortune or personal failures, you begin to see them as part of a larger story, one that includes growth, learning, and eventual victory. This perspective changes the narrative inside your mind. It gives you courage to face adversity head on because you understand that you are being shaped, refined, and prepared for something beyond your current pain. When you feel overwhelmed, this greater anchor whispers that your suffering is not in vain, that every challenge is an opportunity to rise stronger. It pulls you out of despair and plants seeds of hope, faith, and endurance deep in your heart. This connection becomes a lifeline in the darkest moments, reminding you that you are more than your pain. Sometimes anchoring yourself in something greater requires surrender, letting go of control and trusting in a power beyond your understanding. This surrender isn't weakness, it's strength wrapped in humility. It means admitting that you don't have all the answers, that you can't fix every problem, and that life's greatest mysteries sometimes unfold in their own time. When you surrender, you release the burden of trying to carry the world alone and invite a higher force to guide and carry you. This act of faith opens the door to miracles, healing, and unexpected breakthroughs. It teaches you patience and peace amidst uncertainty. Anchoring yourself in something greater invites you to lean into trust instead of fear, hope instead of despair, and love instead of anger. It's a daily choice to stand on solid ground no matter what storms rage around you. When you anchor yourself in something greater, you become a source of strength and peace for others. Your stability in the face of chaos inspires those around you to find their own anchors. You begin to understand that your journey is not just about surviving, but about shining light into the darkness for others to follow. Your anchored faith or purpose becomes a beacon and becomes a synergy, steady, unwavering, and bright. People will see your calm in the storm and ask how you do it. Your answer isn't just words. It's the way you live, the peace you carry, and the hope you refuse to let go of. By rooting yourself in a higher truth, you lift not only yourself, but those around you. You become a testament to the power of anchoring in something greater, showing the world that no storm is too fierce, no night too long, when you stand firm in what truly matters. The process of anchoring yourself takes intention and practice. It asks you to pause amid life's chaos and reconnect with the deeper truth that holds you steady. It might mean daily moments of prayer, meditation, or reflection. It might mean surrounding yourself with people who remind you of your purpose and support your growth. It could mean immersing yourself in books, music, or experiences that feed your soul and strengthen your resolve. Whatever form it takes, the key is consistency. Returning again and again to that unshakable center that keeps you grounded. Life will always bring storms, but the more you anchor yourself, the less those storms can sway you. You build resilience, muscle after muscle, day by day, until your peace becomes your fortress. Ultimately, anchoring yourself in something greater is a declaration that you will not be defeated by life's hardships. It is a promise to yourself that no matter what happens, you will stand firm, rooted in a power bigger than any fear, hurt, or loss. This anchor does not remove the storms, but it holds you steady so you can face them with courage and grace. It reminds you that you are never truly alone, that every trial has purpose, and that the light of your soul can never be extinguished. When you anchor yourself in something greater, you become unshakable, an unmovable force of peace and strength in a world that will always try to knock you down. And that, more than anything, is the key to never letting anyone or anything bother you again. As we draw this powerful conversation to a close, take a moment to breathe in the truth of what you've heard. Life will never be free of challenges, disappointments, or difficult people. The world is full of noise, chaos, and forces trying to pull you away from your peace. But here's the gift you now carry, the understanding that you have within you the power to rise above all of it, to create an inner sanctuary that no one can invade, a fortress of peace that no one can tear down, and a light that no darkness can extinguish. This power is not found in external validation or control over others. It is found in how deeply you connect to your own strength, your own worth, and something far greater than the circumstances around you. You've learned that protecting your peace is not a passive act, but an active, fierce choice. Like a fortress guarding a treasure, you must stand vigilant over your inner world. The world will always try to shake you through criticism, betrayal, or unexpected storms. But when you guard your peace, these attacks bounce off, leaving your spirit intact. This means learning to say no to toxic influences, turning away from drama, and refusing to let anger or resentment take root. It means understanding that peace is your birthright, and you will fight for it with the same intensity others fight for what they want. When your peace is protected, you don't just survive life's challenges, you rise through them, unbroken and empowered. Mastering the art of silence is one of the most underestimated yet powerful tools at your disposal. The world will constantly demand your reaction, your energy, your voice, but sometimes the greatest strength lies in choosing not to engage. Silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the space where your clarity grows, where your anger cools, and where your soul finds rest. In silence, you regain control. Control over your emotions, your reactions, and your narrative. You learn that not every battle is yours to fight. And sometimes the most powerful answer is to say nothing at all. Silence becomes your shield, your calm in the storm. A reminder that your peace is more important than winning any argument or proving any point. Redefining what deserves your energy shifts the entire way you live. Too often, we pour ourselves into people, worries, or tasks that drain us, leaving us exhausted and empty. But your energy is sacred, and where you invest it shapes your life. When you become intentional about what you give your attention to, you begin to see your world differently. You stop chasing approval from those who don't value you, stop stressing over situations beyond your control, and stop investing in negativity that dims your light. Instead, you put your energy into what nourishes you, your growth, your passions, your relationships that uplift and inspire. This shift is not selfish, it is necessary. It is the way to reclaim your power and live fully aligned with your highest self. Healing the wounds you hide from the world is a brave and necessary journey. It's tempting to mask pain with smiles, to pretend everything is fine, to push down the hurt until it feels like it might crush you. But true healing comes from facing those wounds head on, giving yourself permission to feel every bit of the pain, and then choosing to release it. Healing is not linear or easy, but it is transformative. When you heal, you reclaim the pieces of yourself that pain tried to steal. You rewrite your story from victim to victor. You break free from the chains of past trauma, betrayal, and hurt, no longer allowing those hidden wounds to dictate your present or future. Healing restores your wholeness and fortifies your spirit so that nothing can disturb your peace again. Anchoring yourself in something greater provides an unshakable foundation beneath your feet. This anchor can take many forms: a faith in a higher power, a deep sense of purpose, the love of those who truly matter, or a belief in a truth bigger than your pain. Whatever it is, this anchor steadies you when life tries to throw you off course. It reminds you that you are never truly alone, that every trial is temporary, and that your life has meaning beyond your immediate circumstances. When you anchor yourself in something greater, you gain perspective. Suddenly, problems shrink and hope grows. This connection is your refuge in the storm, your source of courage when fear threatens to paralyze you. It keeps you rooted in peace, no matter what storms rage around you. Each of these truths Protecting your peace, mastering silence, choosing where to place your energy, healing your hidden wounds, and anchoring yourself in something greater are not isolated actions, but intertwined parts of a whole. They work together to create a life where you are no longer tossed about by the winds of chaos and hurt. Instead, you stand firm, unbreakable, and free. You become the master of your own peace, the author of your own story, and the light that shines even in the darkest places. Now, as you step forward from this moment, carry these truths with you. Guard your peace like the priceless treasure it is. When the world tries to pull you into conflict or chaos, remember the power of silence. Be deliberate with your energy, investing it only where it serves your highest good. Face your wounds with courage and allow healing to restore your soul. And always anchor yourself in that greater force that holds you steady, no matter what. Thank you for walking this path with me today. May you move forward with unshakable strength, boundless peace, and a heart full of hope. God bless you always.